What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Steve Naito. I want to thank you all for stopping by the video today. And as always, I really want to help you guys when it comes down to shoes here and give you guys the information you need to make a purchasing decision one way or the other on the shoes that I talk about on the channel here. So this is a brand new Air Force One that has seen a lot of popularity and I was really excited to pick up, but I'm going to break this shoe down, take a look at it both up close and on feet, and give you guys my opinions on the shoe to hopefully make the decision a little bit easier for you guys. So if I help you out at all today, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, as well as drop a like on this video. But for today, we'll take a dive into it. This is the Nike Air Force One Low Added Air or Double Air. As you can see, drawing from the additional air that's on the shoe, as well as some extra pattern on the tongue here. So in my opinion, I think this shoe draws some similarities from the Nike Off-White collection. Those have dropped over the past couple of years, but that's where we first kind of saw two air on the shoe. And Nike really didn't do too much like this. They didn't experiment or play around with Air Forces too much. There was another Air Force One last year that sticks out that reminds me of this one and the Off-White collection a little bit, that I think Nike is tapping into a little bit to make some of their designs. Not a problem by my standards at all. I think it is pretty cool and still a nice looking shoe. At least for this one, it makes you look at it twice. You expect to see a white Air Force One, but then you see the tongue and you're like, what's going on there? You see the double air and you kind of just look at it a couple times. So it's a cool shoe, excited to break it down and check out what it looks like on feet as well as up close. So that's what we'll do here today. So I think we've covered pretty much anything. If you guys have any questions at all, let me know in the comments down below. Also, be sure to check out my social media channels in the description down below as well. But for now, we'll cut the talk and we'll jump into the video and start checking out the Nike Air Force One Low Added Air. And here we are up close with the sneakers. So before we dive into the shoes, we'll take a look at the box. And this one here is just a classic black Air Force box. And on the size tag, we got Air Force One 07 LV8 3 in white, and black for a retail price of $110, like I mentioned before. So onto the shoes now. As you can see from the side and from this lateral view, it pretty much looks like a typical and generic white Air Force One Low with this additional air on the back here. So of course, if we start down at the midsole and outsole, you got a classic looking Air Force One with the air written in black, the little line going through around to the heel, white midsole, white outsole, stars up at the top, white stitching in the middle, and then you go up to the white leather. Pretty typical, not really any different than other leather on Air Force Ones here. But then towards the back, you reach another air. So of course you got it written in black there, the line going through and wrapping around. So you can see it twice. That's why it's called the added air, the double air. And then up on the laces, you can see that there's some additional tags going through each lace. So we'll take a look at that in a second, but this is gonna round out the lateral view of the shoe. And actually, one quick thing I did want to show you guys is just lining up the shoes right here on either lateral side of the shoe to show you guys exactly what it looks like, kind of from overhead and a little bit far away before we jump into the on feet a little bit later. So you can see both air right there. The texture on them are a little bit different. So this one is kind of painted on the bottom, and then this one is a little bit more of a plastic. But as you can see, side to side, they are the same on either side. And as we zoom out, you can get a look at both the lateral sides on the shoe here. But again, just a clean, simple looking design here. Onto the front now, starting down at the toe and the toe box. Of course, you got the stars going around to the toe box. The toe box is a little bit smaller than regular Air Force Ones because this patch is extended a little bit to account for the Nike Air and Air Force One logo written on top. So that's a nice little addition there. And then starting from the bottom, you got the Air Force One tongue tag all the way down at the bottom. So that extends over this bottom lace. You got the white laces going through, and it's basically like one giant kind of interchanging tongue. So of course the tongue patch itself is correct up at the top here, Nike Air Force One, but then the words on the next two are kind of what would be behind the original tongue tag, and it just repeats. So you got the original tag, words behind, original tag, words, and then the original tag. And that is the same on both shoes. So they really just went kind of overboard and put a lot on it. So you can see from the front, you immediately see those tags and they really do stick out. Onto the medial side now. This part does look a bit more like a classic Air Force One in the white color, where it's just all white leather all the way up until the back, where you see a second line where that air wraps around. But otherwise, nothing really too different on this side here. Onto the back, as you can imagine, you got the lines wrapping around. So classic Air Force One in the white color kind of look. Then you got black for the Nike Air hit up at the top and the two lines in the middle, and that rounds out the heel. Getting the shoes loosened up a little bit and moving overhead, you can see what it looks like, looking down at the shoes. So the logo on the toe box is pretty big. You can see all the extra tags on the tongue itself covering the laces. But then as we move further into the shoes, you can see the inner liner is all white, all the way down to a black midsole, or black insole, excuse me, where you got Nike and Air written in white. And then I'll show you guys the back of the tag here so you can see what I'm talking about. So there's the words that kind of repeat on the rest of the tongue tags on the tongue itself on the front. So you can see it really does repeat, and that's where they took the design from. And then, the shoe tree inside, the size tag, and then finally the attached size tag. I've moved out here to get a better look at it for the numbers and information. And lastly, we can take a look at the outsole, which, as you can imagine, is really no different than regular Air Force outsoles. So this one is just all white. And now we have wrapped up taking an up-close look at the shoes. So now it's time to get them laced up, and I'll show you guys what the Nike Air Force 1 Low Added Air looks like on feet. So now there we have it for the Double Air Nike Air Force 1 Low on feet. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I think this is a really good shoe, and hopefully I've given you guys enough information to help make a decision on whether or not this shoe is for you. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. But if we start breaking down this shoe, I think it does look really nice. Obviously, it's pretty similar to a generic white Air Force 1 with a little bit of added extras to it that I think make it pretty nice. If you're a fan of this style and how it looks, I think it's 100% a go and a great shoe to grab for the summer. All white Air Force 1s are going to be a very, very popular shoe. So this one, I'm sure is added to the list there. If you guys like it, I highly recommend it. So in terms of the Air Force 1 and how it fits and the comfort and all that, the Air Force 1 as a model is a great, great shoe, timeless shoe. Awesome shoe at the end of the day, and it does pretty much fit true to size. The only thing is, I would recommend going into a store if your stores are open and getting your correct fit for Air Force 1s if you have not tried on a pair yet, because I do recommend true to size, but I like to go a little bit down and go down a half size, and a lot of other people do as well. Otherwise, you really can just go true to size and it should fit you well. It is a comfortable shoe. It gets more comfortable over time with wear, and it's just a good shoe that looks great right out of the box and looks pretty good beat up too. So great shoe that can last a while. But this one in particular here, like I said, if you guys like the added extras to it, and I think the design comes a little bit from the Off-White Nike collaborations that I've talked about, again with adding the Double Air on the shoe. So I think that's kind of where they draw this from, but I think it is really nice at the end of the day. So if I had to give you guys my final rating and opinion on a scale out of 10 here, I'm going to go a 9 out of 10 because I think it's a good shoe. I really like the white Air Force 1 as a whole. This one has some subtle differences to it that make it kind of new and exciting, so I'm a pretty big fan of it, and I think it's a good shoe at the end of the day. But again, let me know in the comments down below what you guys think, and again, if I helped you guys out at all today, let me know in the comments and consider hitting that subscribe button down below. But I think we'll end the video here, so I want to thank you one final time for joining me today, and I'll catch you guys again real soon on the next video.